That's it. That's it. Let's go. Practice fast.
Welcome to Finsiders TV. Barry Butel alongside Keith Sims. Preseason game #1 in the books. Your thoughts about now as it starts to rain here at the training facility about the weather conditions last weekend?
It was a muddy mess out there last weekend, but I saw some good things, a lot of things the team needs to work on, but that's a good thing in the first preseason game. I think it gave the Coach Sperano a lot of things he can go in there and coach up on this team.
Well, the weather conditions, were they a factor for an offense that kind of struggled? Brandon Marshall with a couple of drops.
There was a lot of talk on that. I mean, that field was terrible. It was a lot of rain before kickoff and very, very muddy. But it's conditions. It's their home field. They've got to get used to playing that way. So use it as a learning experience. Again, it was only the first preseason game. Let's not panic yet.
Yeah. Marlon Moore, wide receiver, he did step up. Patrick Turner, another guy stepping up. The battle, are the days getting a little tighter now as they approach game #2?
They really are. The guys were given an opportunity Saturday night to show what they can do. And it was a couple guys. You mentioned them. Nate Ness showed his opportunity, taking that and seized it. There are guys who are now going to get more practice time, and we'll see if they can carry it over from the first game to the second game.
Consistency, that's what Coach Sperano keeps preaching. These guys want to continue to open the eyes of the coaching staff.
Yeah, they really put a premium on how they practice, but they practice well just to give an opportunity to play in games. So if you show something in the first game, you can't afford to take a step backward. You got to continue to build on it all through training camp.
Now, we've seen kind of the movement on the interior portion of the offensive line. As a former offensive lineman, when do you think that might all come together to fruition where those guys are the guys are going to war with on the regular season opener?
I would expect that competition to be closed after this game. These guys have probably another week to juggle some people and see who's going to make that separation. But you really want to go into that third preseason game with your starting offensive line intact so they have that game, which typically they play the most in 3 quarters together, and then they can work that last week prior to the start of the season.
Defensively, what were some of the things that stood out for you?
Well, I was a little disappointed in the run defense, particularly the second unit. I think there was some playmakers on defense, which was good. You know, Sean Smith had an interception. There was some good tackling. Paul Soliai really came on strong. That was against number 2s, but that's what we want to see out of a guy like that. He needs to step up.
Talked to John Conjemi, a fellow Finsider. He talked about Soliai really being helpful for Randy Starks, able to kind of give him a bit of a breather where he can keep his legs underneath him to put some pressure on the quarterback, maybe on third down.
Well, if Paul can continue to play that way, it gives the Dolphin defense a great change of pace. You got Randy Starks, who's a little bit smaller, about 305, but quickness. And you're bringing Soliai at 350, who's a mountain in the middle. So it gives offenses a hard time figuring out how they're going to run against the defense.
Thanks so much for your time.
You got to have a great day.
Keith Sims, Barry Butel, you've been watching Finsiders TV.